This is 7 News, the voice of the New England.
Tonight, local businesses up in arms as compensation is unlikely after the Optus outage.
Tamworth celebrates its 135th anniversary of electric street lights.
I'm Daniel Gibson. Later on this news hour, 2 arrested after a man is killed and police were shot at. And Aussie struggled with interest rates as the NAB posts almost $8 billion in profits.
7 News begins now.
Good evening. The federal government will launch an investigation into yesterday's Optus outage that affected more than 10 million Australians.
Local businesses were some of the hardest hit, with millions of dollars lost from less than half a day of no internet and mobile services.
Local businesses at the mercy of corporate telco giants.
My goodness, you know, they have so much control over our operating, especially now if you're paying by cards. Yeah, it's quite scary.
This is the largest mobile communications network failure in Australians' history.
Around 9 hours was all it took to cause chaos. Optus took out phone and internet service for nearly 40% of the nation. In a post-COVID, increasingly cashless society, this was a nightmare for local businesses, with banking cards out of action.
A couple of them went and got cash, the others no. Okay, so it did have an impact.
Did Optus put profits ahead of the public interest? That's what Australians are asking today.
The federal government will launch a review into the network outage. The Australian Communications and Media Authority also announcing their own investigation, and the Senate declaring an inquiry into the incident.
Today's Senate inquiry will force Optus to now front up. After failing the people,
Optus customers are being urged to keep track of money lost during that time, but there's no confirmation whether anyone will receive compensation.
some small businesses had to close their doors all day. Some small businesses would have lost customers they will never get back.
The CEO of Optus is really quite a disgrace.
Yesterday's outage exposed how dependent Australians are on telco giants like Optus. Experts encourage those who rely on mobile and internet services to have a backup plan in case this ever happens again.
Any one carrier can have a bad day, but if you protect yourself by using multiple carriers for connectivity, at least it doesn't matter if they have a bad day, your day is not going to be completely shut down.
Rex Quayle, 7 News.
A brand new bridge has been unveiled today in Boggabri. It's a critical transport link between Gunnedah and the Narrabri Shire, a boost for drivers and the agricultural industry.
The Boston Street Bridge was first built in the 1800s. It's a crucial connection for agriculture and heavy-duty vehicles. But the bridge was not suitable for large trucks and was frequently flooded.
It virtually cut us off from our farming community. People west of the river couldn't get across with their equipment, and also in flood time and time like that, it was down for a long, long time.
Funded by local council and a $2.6 million grant from the previous coalition government. Minister for Transport and Roads, Jenny Aitchison, is hoping to see more work done within the regions.
Getting a pipeline that's actually achievable, of sequencing work where we need to sequence it, of getting it to happen in an orderly manner, which doesn't place real damage and stress on communities.
At 60 metres long and spanning 9 metres between barriers, it's been a big job to complete. Originally announced in 2021, floods and worker shortages have delayed the build.
I think every council in New South Wales has been facing the same thing. I think Transport for New South Wales, we're all in the same situation. We're all looking for skilled labourers.
Mr Shaw says it will be vital for Boggabri and its growth. It will connect both towns and reduce travel time.
I see a difference already. I see a difference in the flow of traffic. We're capturing our farming community in the business section again. People are coming into Boggabri.
Olivia Babb, 7 News.
The New South Wales Civil and Administrative Tribunal has granted a stay of execution for Armidale's tiny town childcare centre, which means it's putting a hold on the Department of Education's notice of closure until April next year. The centre was told to close its doors due to claims the facility was unsafe, lost paperwork and outdated enrolment forms. The childcare facility has 5 months to meet those standards. Northern Tablelands MP Adam Marshall says it's good news for families.
This is a really good outcome for those parents and families because they now won't have to be scrambling about what they do with their youngsters, find another childcare provider or simply leave them with grandparents.
However, if the centre does not meet the requirements by next year, the business will be shut down.
Fire crews are continuing to mop up a number of blazes in the Tenterfield Shire. Nearly 50,000 hectares has been burnt so far. The fires remain at advice level and are now all under control. Heavy machinery has been brought in to clear dangerous and hazardous trees in the area. A bushfire recovery centre has been set up at the Tenterfield Memorial Hall for anyone affected by the fires and in need of help.
Australia's largest ag bodies met in Sydney today to join forces over proposed changes to the Murray-Darling Basin Plan. The National Farmers Federation, New South Wales Farmers, Ag Force Queensland and New South Wales Irrigators Council are warning the federal government against going beyond the original plan. They say extending the plan by 3 years and buying back more water will lead to an increase in food prices and kill country towns.
But you also cause certain foods and fibre to be less available. So the price goes up. So it drives up the cost of living.
Mr Martin says there's no environmental merit to adding more water to the river.
Harvest is underway for farmers across the region, with many either starting early or late, depending on the conditions. Narrabri farmer Ian Goulet has been one of the lucky ones, yielding a decent crop despite the season.
Ian Goulet has been a farmer for more than 25 years, growing wheat, cotton and sorghum on his property.
They've all had came in sort of where we expected it, so there's no outstanding one this year. They've all had their little trials and tribulations.
Many farmers in the northwest have been struggling to get a header on their crop this spring, but Mr Goulet is grateful he's had success.
You don't have to go far west of here, and they didn't really get any winter crop in, so we've been very fortunate to get this crop off, and it's pretty good prices, so the returns have been pretty good for us.
The small amount of rain received in June allowed for crops to go in, yielding a decent harvest compared to other farms nearby.
He finished harvest late yesterday. There were fears of rainfall as dark clouds rolled in, but it narrowly missed his crop. It's been a season of highs and lows for farmers, with a lot of uncertainty.
At the end of the day, we're pretty happy especially with the way the season went.
Planting cotton might be a struggle. 1 inch of water is needed for the land to be ready. Despite El Nino, Mr Goulet is hoping there will be some rain throughout December and January.
We've got sort of another month to get a rainfall event to get all the cotton in, and if not, yeah, well, it'll get fallowed through till next year, I guess.
Olivia Babb, 7 News.
Advocates of renewable energy are welcoming the end of Narrabri's Special Activation Precinct after the state Labor government scrapped funding for the project. The precinct was first announced in 2020 and was designed to be a hub for gas companies like Santos. The state government claims it's now rezoning land for a light industrial development and more housing. Locals are hoping it'll be made into an industrial estate for renewable energy sources.
What that would look like is there would be large-scale solar on site and a whole bunch of other industries that can come and be powered behind the meter.
It now leaves Santos with only one option to transport any gas it may produce in the Pilliga Forest, which is in the Hunter gas pipeline.
Today marks 135 years since Tamworth made the switch from gas street lamps to electric lights. Some lucky students took a step back in time today to celebrate.
Shining a light on the city's rich history.
Being the 9th of November, it's the anniversary from when we first turned the street lights on in Tamworth in 1888. So every year on the 9th we celebrate the anniversary by running the engines and the generators.
School students passed through the museum today to have a look at how it all used to work, with volunteers reminding the students why it's important to preserve history like this.
Like if we don't pass the history on from one generation to the next, it gets lost, and that'd be a real shame to forget on how things were, and important for us to know that. Yeah.
In 1888, Tamworth was the first town in Australia to install electric street lights. These steam engines behind me were used to power them.
Something the locals still feel proud of.
That was 16 years before Sydney converted their gas lights to electricity and things like that. But not only that, we had the festival light.
The power station was in use until it was declared too small in November of 1922. However, it remains an important piece of the city's history.
Well, it's council's history, it's Tamworth's history, it's Australia's electrical history as well, plus the world virtually, and we've got national significance on it.
Hugh Pearson, 7 News.
Kirsty joins us now with a look at today's weather. And Kirsty, quite warm out there and we saw some showers rolling in too.
That's right, Maddie and Nick. Hello to you both and good evening, everyone. We certainly have seen a little bit of rainfall move through the northern inland with showers first at around 5:30 this morning under those cloudy skies. Storms and lightning also moved through, but that was around 1 o'clock this afternoon and mainly over parts of the northern Tablelands, including Armidale as well as Guyra. Walker picked up about 3 millimetres since 9 a.m. and we had localised heavy showers again towards the east around Glenelgan with 15 millimetres recorded. Our temperatures today reached the high 20s around Corindai and Murrurundi and into the 30s across Tamworth, Gunnedah and Famori. Breezy northwesterly winds across most of the day too. There is the chance of showers picking up this evening with some wet weather continuing into tomorrow. I'll have a look at that forecast after sport.
Thanks, Kirsty. We'll see you in a couple of minutes.
Still to come in 7 News, local charities are preparing for a busy Christmas.
And students take out the top prize for their life-size creation.
And a little later on this news hour, a smoke alarm saves a family just in time as their townhouse burns to the ground. The first of the big four to raise interest rates again, now reporting a multi-billion-dollar profit. And Israel cops intense global scrutiny over its Gaza exit strategy.
Welcome back. Students at McCarthy Catholic College took out the top prize in this year's Dairy Australia National Picasso Cow Competition. The students worked together to design and decorate the life-size fiberglass cow.
For more than 10 years, the National Picasso Cow Competition has taught students about the Australian dairy industry. This year, McCarthy Catholic College was one of 40 schools to participate.
There's a learning journal that goes through with it and a program that you need to teach within your classroom, and then there's the design side of it where they create the cow.
There were two themes for this year's competition.
Farm to plate or nutrition, and being an ag teacher I chose to do the farm to plate side of it, which allowed us a little bit more flexibility with what we put on Nellie.
The students were provided a blank fiberglass canvas. They were then tasked with telling a local farm to plate story.
We, as a Catholic school, decided that we would also link the local dairy that was in operation at the time, which was Peel Valley Milk, and we did a case study on Peel Valley Milk within the class.
Their story is one that is typically unheard of for dairy cows.
We decided that we would adopt Nellie as a retired Peel Valley Milk cow, and then to link in the Catholic side of it, we decided to have her experience a miracle, and which is her calf that we've called Manelli.
The win came as a surprise for the students.
Well, we were quite shocked, and we wanted a pretty fair prize.
Hugh Pearson, 7 News.
Christmas is creeping closer and local charities are preparing for a busy couple of months ahead. They're putting out a call for more volunteers, asking for all the extra hands they can get.
The holiday season is tough for a lot of people.
At Christmas time, we've got some older members of the population. They don't necessarily have family visiting them, so we're becoming their family.
Australia's financial situation will add some extra stress. According to the Salvation Army, 15.7 million Australians financially struggled over Christmas last year due to the rising cost of living pressures. 77% of their clients struggled to afford food and 62% struggled to afford presents for their children. Similar charities are in dire need of more helpers to keep up with that growing demand.
Our numbers have been reasonably static for the last 3 or 4 years, including through COVID. We were very fortunate that our volunteers stuck with us, and they do their deliveries between 8 and 10 o'clock each morning. So people who are in the workforce find it very difficult to engage with us.
Tamworth Meals on Wheels president Peter Scorgie ticked into his 25th year with the organisation in 2023. He hasn't received a cent for his hard work, instead getting paid in other ways.
Satisfaction. Right? Doing a good job is very satisfying. The then President said to me, it'd be like delivering a meal to your mum. Wouldn't you like to deliver a meal to your mum?
Charities are calling on the community to embrace the Christmas spirit and give back where they can.
That should be happening all the time, not just for Christmas. It's like Valentine's Day, right? You should be loving your wife or your girlfriend every day, not just one day in the year, and it's the same with Christmas.
Rex Quayle, 7 News.
Still to come in 7 News, a boxing movie will star our very own fighter.
And Gunnedah prepares to host this year's Aussie Flat Track Nationals. I'll say that one day.
Tomorrow on Sunrise, the at-home tests for Aussie mums and dads to see if you're living with ADHD and the new treatments that work.
Plus, from living in a van and busking on the streets to global fame and fortune, Tones and I performs Dance Monkey exclusively on Sunrise.
See you in the morning.
Welcome back. The man scheduled to face Tamworth's Josh McCulloch, Tong Chai, this weekend has pulled out just 2 days shy of the event. The Thai-born fighter withdrawing after he sustained an injury. Josh will still enter the ring on Saturday and he's been paired with a new opponent. Well, the Gunnedah Motorcycle Club is preparing to host the Aussie Flat Track Nationals this weekend. The competition brings the best of the best into town for a shot at the big title.
The Aussie Flat Track Nationals is bound for Gunnedah. This year's champion will be crowned on Saturday as riders from across the country battle it out for line honours.
Trying to win their share of about $35,000 in cash and prizes.
The competition will be held at Valkyrie Park, one of the country's most unique venues. The oil surface providing a challenge for even the most experienced.
And then we really wanted to finish the series on an oil track, which is quite unique to Australia. There's only a handful of circuits left around the country, and Gunnedah is one of the leading circuits. So
one of the riders lining up is Max Whale. He's ridden professionally on all kinds of tracks. He's now returned to our shores after a highly successful season in the US, and he can't wait for this weekend.
It's like the best track in Australia, pretty much. You know, the club is awesome. Everyone that works there is, you know, just loves what they do. It's such a good environment, really.
The series is run on the clay surface in Appin and decomposed granite in Brisbane. But organisers wanted to give a small country club a go for their final event.
Well, we're at the top end of the sport. We want to see this flow down through to the kids on junior bikes and see it grow through the ranks. And the only way to do that is to support the clubs. So.
Max Gent, 7 News.
A new movie will be shot in our region early next year. The boxing film In the 12th will star Malachi Towns, a current Australian middleweight champion, and a Tamworth local. The production will also shoot on a number of locations across Tamworth, including 1-2 Boxing Westside in Taminda.
Looking like a very promising film. Screenplay reads well. The director, Brock McMahon's done a really great job on it.
The director plans to premiere the film in Tamworth next year. The defending Group 4 premiers are getting back to work. The North Tamworth Bears will kick off their pre-season training on Thursday, the 14th of December at Jack Wollaston Oval. The sessions are open to all senior players as well as under-18s as the club looks to get the junior team off the ground this year. It will mean a short off-season break for the Bears, with next season not scheduled to kick off until April. Well, just as one club in Group 4 returns, another fails to get off the ground. The Manila Tigers are unlikely to return to the competition this year, with a player shortage continuing to cripple the team. The side folded in February after being forced to forfeit the final 2 matches of the 2022 season. The future of former captain coach Mitch Doring is also up in the air, with a number of clubs circling for the halfback signature. Up next in 7 News, Kirsty is back and she's got your all-important local weather forecast. That's next.
Good evening, everyone. A low-pressure trough has triggered widespread showers and thunderstorms across parts of the state. This system will continue deepening in the north tomorrow, while onshore winds drive wet weather along the east coast. Following this, a high-pressure system should bring drier skies but hot temperatures across the weekend and into early next week. The next wet weather system looks to arrive through Tuesday, sweeping across the state. Following today's wet weather, it's the northern inland that is expecting more rainfall overnight and through tomorrow, with the chance of severe storms dropping some localised heavy rainfall. We could see around 30, even up to 50 millimetres. That's including the arrival of that new trough next week. A severe thunderstorm warning was issued late this afternoon, though, for heavy rain, damaging winds and large hail covering parts of the northwest slopes with that elevated risk of flash flooding. On to our Friday weather, and today's wet conditions will continue tomorrow with some areas of possibly heavy rainfall overnight. Those storms are likely too, and first thing will be very windy as northwesterly winds reach up to 35 kilometres an hour. Those winds easing during the afternoon, where we will see a little bit of patchy cloud around. Temperatures in the low 20s for Armidale and for Tenterfield. Hotter weather heading our way through Saturday and Sunday, though, with showers easing to a mostly clear and settled weekend. The low 30s for both Moree and for Corindai. Strong winds up at around 35 kilometres an hour in the morning. So the heat and those winds will lead to a high fire danger rating across the northwest. Armidale reaching 26 and Murrurundi 34. Now, that elevated fire danger will also spread to the northern slopes on Sunday as temperatures increase further. Narrabri and Gunnedah tops of 37 as Walgett flirts with the 40s. Mostly sunny in the morning, but the afternoon again could see a storm or two develop. The Glen Innes 27 and Inverell a partly cloudy 31. If we look ahead for Tamworth, our temperatures will remain well into the 30s and well above average for this time of year into next week. We're about to swelter through another few days of very hot weather after a few showers about tomorrow.
Yeah, that's it. Plenty of sunshine and heat on the way.
That's right.
Thanks, Kirsty.
And that's all we have time for tonight. Thanks for watching. You can catch up on our website or, of course, at 7+.
Right now, Dan's got your national news. Enjoy your night. We'll see you tomorrow at 6 o'clock.